Many people experience a deep thunking sound coming from around the hip area when they're doing leg raises in either yoga or fitness classes. Is this something to worry about? Let's take a look at the mechanism behind the sound. And let me just hold the microphone down in front of the sound. Many people also experience it when you're coming around in a straddle movement, very common. The short and easy answer is no, it's not something to worry about, because it's actually not your hip joint that's popping or anything. The hip joint is down here where your femur and pelvis meet each other in a ball and socket joint. And although it feels like the sound is coming from deeply in there, what's actually happening is your psoas muscle, specifically the tendon of your psoas muscle, which is thick and strong, probably like a finger, is switching places across this bony protrusion called the minor tubercle, or tuberculum in Latin. So we have to understand the psoas muscle to understand the sound. And psoas attaches on the side of the bodies of the 5 lumbar vertebrae. And then it runs down in front of the pelvis onto this blue bony area. So it's a hip flexor. It will pull your thigh bone up in front of you in hip flexion. This movement right here, if I can get my dear friend Skeleton to do the movement. If we look a little bit from the side, you'll see how when Mr. Skeleton is in neutral, the psoas muscle will fall in front of the minor tubercle. But when we go into hip flexion, can you see how now part of the psoas fibers, they will be behind this tubercle. Whereas when the leg is in neutral, those fibers will have to be more in front. And it's that transition point where this bony knob, the tendon, parts of the tendon has to go around that. And that's why you hear the sound, is this tendon switches places. And your strong psoas tendon can easily handle this small switching. It's not dangerous, especially not if it doesn't hurt, but it's only a sound. And even if it does hurt a little bit, it's probably not dangerous at all. What can you do about it though? If you don't like the sound or if it's uncomfortable in any way, I have 2 pieces of advice for you. The first thing you can do is being properly warm in your body and specifically warm your psoas up. So that can be standing leg raises, leg swings, hip circles. The second thing you can do about it is to stretch your hip flexors before you go for your leg raises. So to stretch your hip flexors, what you can do is practice Anjaneyasana, where the key points will be to tilt your pelvis to the back, hold your belly and maybe even your butt active as you go forward slightly until you feel an opening on the front. It shouldn't be a quad stretch down here south. It should be up north, right in front of your hip. That's the area of your psoas, and you can just squeeze the hell out of your belly and glutes. You can practice the pose statically using your breath, or you can move dynamically in and out of the position, but make sure, maybe use hands on to hold the cues of posterior pelvic tilt and strong belly as you move in and out of the position. And then you can go ahead and try the leg raises and see if anything changed. So now you know why this sound might be coming when you're doing leg raises of different sorts, lying on your back in yoga. It's your psoas tendon and not your hip joint. And basically there's not much to worry about. And if you want to work with it, make sure you're properly warmed up and stretch your hip flexors before you get at it with the leg raises. Have a good practice.